Justice with Judge Mablean will be life because in everything we do, it involves the law. You came to court to testify about what you heard, what you saw, and what you know.
She's fair.
I don't have a hearing problem. This ear works good. This one works even better.
She's firm.
I'm not responsible for that ticket, and I'm not going to pay for it.
Who says you're not going to pay for it? I make that decision, not you.
She's honest.
What you have to say?
All I have to
Nothing.
say.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean. Petunia Garrett is suing Lenny Rogers in the amount of $5,350. Ms. Garrett claims Mr. Rogers sabotaged her lighting display, causing her to lose a competition. Mr. Rogers claims it was the plaintiff's greed and gaudiness that caused her to lose the competition.
In the matter of Petunia Garrett versus Lenny Rogers, Ms. Garrett, I am told that you believe that your neighbor sabotaged your winning of the Christmas lighting contest.
That's correct,
for the
Your
block.
Honor. Yes.
Okay, so tell me, what theory of law are you suing him under?
It started about 3 years ago when my
3 years
neighbor,
ago?
Yes, Mr. Roger moved into the neighborhood, and he was against the light show because he said that it was not environmentally friendly. And I totally understand that some people don't want to participate in different kinds of activities, but that doesn't mean that they should stop those of us who would like to participate.
Well, did he stop you?
Well, so he won part of the battle this past year because he got it voted in to the community that we had to use at least 30% energy efficient lights.
30% energy efficient lighting.
Correct. And I was really upset because I've spent thousands of dollars on my lighting. And I was
Thousands of dollars for a $5,000 prize?
Well, over the years, yes, of course.
Oh, you mean over the years. All right.
Yes.
Okay, just tell me what happened this year.
So this year, so he got it voted in that we had to use energy efficient lighting. And
30% energy efficient lighting.
Yes, and I was really upset because I've already had this plan. So Mr. Roger decided that he would donate, as a solution, he would donate energy efficient lighting so that we could all comply.
For everyone?
Yes.
30%?
Yes. And I thought that it was great.
He decided that he would donate 30% energy efficient lighting for every contestant?
Yes, in the community. And I thought that was a great compromise. And so I took him up on his offer. And when he came to my house, I told him specifically what I needed to meet that 30% requirement that I was beholden to because the community voted it in. And so I needed the brightest lights. I told him I wanted something comparable to 150 watts so that it was nice and bright. It would show off the rest of my decorations. And I needed it all along the roof edge and all along the walkway. And he said that I was being excessive. He said that I could be more energy efficient. And I told him at that point, if he couldn't help me with my needs, then I would find other ways around it. But at that point, he said, okay, he promised that he could get me the brightness that I needed and the coverage for along the roof edge and along the walkway.
When did you ask him to have it to you?
Well, I started putting decorations up weeks in advance.
Okay, when did you ask him to get it to you?
We kept
Was that
asking,
ever established? Or was it just established before the competition deadline?
Yeah, he just said before, and we kept asking.
Okay, so you got it before the deadline.
Barely. So the
barely
day of,
is like that win in basketball. Barely at the 6-second buzzer, but it's still a win.
Correct.
Okay.
So I was really excited for when nightfall came so that I could turn on all the lights and see how Mr. Rogers' lights would shine on the rest of my decorations.
And what happened?
Well, when nighttime came, I turned on the lights and they were dull and dim. And there was no way that those lights met the 150 watt specifications that we had talked about and he had agreed to.
Come on, Mr. Rogers, let me hear what you have to say.
My name, Your Honor, is Lenny Rogers, and I moved into the neighborhood 4 years ago, and I believe in the health of the planet. I believe very strongly in energy efficiency.
Okay.
And the reason I believe in energy efficiency is because I think in terms of, say, our whole planet, and I think about the islands in the Pacific that are getting lower
Okay,
and lower.
I know the spill on environmental protection of our Earth. I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
And the
I
future,
want to know
the future of our
if
Earth.
you so believe in it and you got the HOA to agree to your 30% efficiency lighting. I want you to tell me, did you provide 30% efficiency lighting for her to cover her walkway and the roofing?
I provided $100 worth of energy efficient lighting, LED
Oh,
lighting.
he just provided $100 worth of lighting.
Yes.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Mablean.
It can't be that intently bright because of the fact that she wanted
Okay, so where is her
everything lit.
30%? This looks like she has absolutely no lighting.
Exactly.
And later,
And this is the kind she had to wear at the coffee shop?
That's similar to the other coffee shops, the bikini coffee shops in Billings, Montana, yes.
He had to wear these little skippy things in the winter in Montana, too?
Yes,
That's a cold winter.
we keep the heat on for them.
Oh.
Justice with Judge Mablean. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Petunia Garrett, who is suing Lenny Rogers for $5,350.
Okay, so why didn't you provide 30% energy efficient lighting for her walkway and her roofing as she requested?
I provided, the rule is that 30% of the lighting has to be LED or energy efficient.
Right.
And in order to achieve that for every individual in the neighborhood, I offered to provide $100 worth of lighting, that's all LED lighting, for everybody in the neighborhood so that they could get the benefit of energy efficient lighting.
Okay, so that's a big difference of $100 worth of LED lighting versus 30% of the lighting that was necessary to, as required by the board. So he's saying something totally different.
Yes, and when
Okay,
we
so
had
you
the
said I
discussion,
provided $100 worth of lighting.
Yes.
So
that
she
was
says the
LED.
agreement was you were to provide 30% efficiency.
that's what
I
you
am
provided.
I'm providing for most people it was 30% efficiency. And
How much did you provide for her?
I provided $100 worth of LED lighting, but it turns out that in her particular case, she wanted not only brightness, but extent. If you look at the photograph that she shared, the extent of area that she wanted lit was so great. That photograph is deceptive because of the fact that her property is much larger than my property. And the extent of light that she wanted over that whole space forced me to go with lighting that wasn't so intense in order to get the coverage that she wanted.
Okay, now who told you it didn't meet the 150 watt specification?
Well, I could tell, and I have pictures here.
The pictures
of-
won't tell me anything because I
Well-
don't know what a 150 watt specification is versus 30% energy efficient lighting. Who said that the lights that you put up, that he gave you, were not the equivalent of a 150 watt bulb?
Well, the pictures do show. I don't
Okay,
know
if you think
all
the
of
pictures are going to
wattage
do it, then you give them to me.
requirement
But I'm
either.
telling you, I don't know.
But the pictures will show there is a definite difference between my house and how it was lit last year when I won.
Did you do the exact same lighting?
This year's theme was Winter Wonderland.
So you
it
didn't do
was
the
a
exact
little bit
same lighting. So how do
differently.
I compare?
Well, it will show. One picture shows how bright they were last year versus.
So this is last
year.
year's?
Correct. I immediately called him when I saw how dark and dim my lights were, and he chuckled at me and he said, "Oh, now you'll have the most energy efficient house on
All right.
the block."
So you took it upon yourself to reduce the intensity of the lighting that you provided.
I took it upon myself to stay within the $100 budget because I couldn't afford to go beyond
So
that.
But we,
now, there's a big difference between a $100 budget versus 30% efficiency lighting for everyone in the neighborhood who's in the competition, and without putting a limit on the cost. So
I didn't
he's
provide-
saying I didn't agree to that. So you're saying you provided $100 worth,
I
but you
provided
don't
$100.
contend that this is 30% brightness.
I'm not disagreeing with her comment about how bright it is. What I'm saying is that she wanted so much coverage that it can't be that intently bright because of the fact that she wanted
Okay, so where is her
everything lit.
30%? This looks like she has absolutely no lighting.
Exactly.
That's because
But why
of the
couldn't
fact
you
that
put
the
up the other
photograph...
70% using the non-LED lights?
These are the lights that I wanted to show the brightest.
No. You need to answer my question. You only had to have 30% of the lighting LED or energy efficient. The other 70% you could have used the regular lighting. Where is your other 70%?
That's the thing. It doesn't show in the brightness because I didn't get the coverage that I needed and that he promised.
It doesn't appear that you have any lighting right here.
That's exactly my point. It's completely dull and dim, and all of the other houses that he provided for were much brighter than mine, and that's why I think
maybe
that
they put
he
other lighting on
sabotaged.
their houses, not just the energy efficient lighting.
I do. I was able to use some of my regular incandescent lights, but for the rest of it that I was expecting from Mr. Rogers,
Okay,
he
well, the
didn't
problem
provide.
is I don't know what the agreement is. There is a dispute as to what the agreement was. 30% efficiency lighting completely, or $100 of efficiency lighting.
Well,
and nothing is in writing. Neither one of you has provided me any proof as to what the agreement was. Before you can sue for breach of an agreement, you have to establish that there was an agreement. And to establish there was an agreement, it means that both of you are in agreement on all of the terms. And obviously you were not. You were speaking two different languages.
I thought that I was
you were speaking two
pretty
different
clear.
languages. You didn't get a full understanding. For there to be an agreement, there has to be a meeting of the minds, that both parties clearly understand all of the terms of the agreement and are on board saying the same thing. You didn't get that established. So judgment for the defendant.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
Next year, I'm getting my own energy-efficient lighting. I'm going bigger and brighter, and I'm going to win.
With my new recommendation to the Homeowners Association to use lower wattage lighting, your house will not be shining so bright.
Coming up,
They had to wear these little skippy things in the winter in Montana too?
We keep the heat on for them.
Oh.
Justice with Judge Mablean. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. Daniela Garcia is suing Michael Boros in the amount of $2,500. Ms. Garcia claims Mr. Boros changed the uniform she wore while working at his coffee shop and then eliminated her position. Mr. Boros says he was simply changing the theme of his cafe and claims he gave the plaintiff the chance to continue working if she wore the new, more revealing uniform like everyone else.
Miss Garcia, let me hear your story.
So basically, it started out with the idea and talks about that the coffee shop is losing money. There got to be changes, and he started talking about this change in uniform because he said that there are out there some coffee shops with the bikini wearing waitresses and stuff like that. So at first it was just a talk, but then it came to the point where one day he came up to me and said that I got to wear this outfit, which I have as an evidence in here.
Oh, let me see.
Not much to see.
Not much to see. I'm with you, Will. You had to wear this little skippy thing in the coffee shop?
That's what I thought, honestly, Your Honor. And
Isn't this a swimsuit that you wear at the beach?
That
It's a
was
bikini, Your Honor.
Typically at the beach or the pool, right?
Oh, yes.
And this is the kind she had to wear at the coffee shop?
That's similar to the other coffee shops, the bikini coffee shops in Billings, Montana, yes.
Billings, Montana. This look like Hollywood stuff, right? Wow. So what happened when he told you had to wear this new uniform?
I couldn't do that, and I told him about that, and what he said was, I can give you an option so you can work in the back of the shop doing either a dishwasher or a busser or a coordinator job position. So I told him
What
that
type position?
dishwasher,
Coordinator.
Coordinator, yes.
Okay.
And
Dishwasher, busser, or coordinator. Why weren't any of those acceptable?
because I couldn't get the tip anymore. Because
because you
yes,
didn't get tips.
It's a small fraction of tip, and before I used to make from $50 to $200 depending on a night.
In tips?
Yes.
Oh, but in one of those positions, it just would be salaried.
Yes.
Okay. Well, so you think that so you left or did he fire you?
He forced me to quit, Your
No,
Honor.
yes, your word. Did he fire you? Did he say you're terminated or did
No,
you quit?
he didn't. I quit on my own.
Coming up,
We're going to make some changes to a slightly more provocative yet tasteful direction. Well, I don't know if I explained it like that.
closed captioning provided by. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Daniela Garcia, who is suing Michael Boros for lost wages.
So let me talk to Mr. Boris.
Yes, Your Honor. I would love nothing more than to have Danielle continue being an employee for the Sunshine Coffee Company. She's been a great employee and has been a hard worker. Let me first establish that I am a businessman, and I am in the business of doing business, and I'm not a charity.
You're not?
I am not.
You think you want to make a profit?
I want to make a profit. I'm
Shame
a
on you.
businessman.
Who ever heard of such a businessman making a profit?
I know it. In this day and age, I can understand that it's not
Early in
for
the morning
everybody.
for coffee, when people coming in at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's what they want. And as a
What
businessman,
about
that's
in the
what I'll
winter
give them.
time? They had to wear these little skippy things in the winter in Montana too?
Yes,
That's a cold winter.
we keep the heat on for them.
Oh, okay. So
And-
she refused to wear it. When you offered her the other jobs, what?
Yeah, well, and I offered for her to be our social media guru, events coordinator. I also offered her if she wanted a tip job that she could work in the back as a busser. She didn't want to do that. I really wanted to keep her on board. She's really been a valuable employee, and
So
this
you
was
couldn't
nothing.
find anything else for this valuable employee to do?
That's what I offered for her. 3 other
and she
positions.
would accept any of it.
Yeah, and she did not accept the other offers. The other thing that I would like to point out, I do have some evidence here that this did not take place overnight. The staff was aware of these changes coming about over the course of months, and I had multiple conversations with each of my employees, and the majority of the staff was ecstatic about the changes. The girls were really happy about the additional tips that they would be making.
So it's only girls?
Yes.
So
it
you don't
is.
have men walking around in bikinis, huh?
No, we do not, Your Honor.
Why not?
Just didn't think that would be a big, smart part
Is
of
this
the
a
business
trucker
model.
town?
It is a trucker town.
So when did this happen? I see this email is dated April 4th, and he said we're going to make some changes to a slightly more provocative yet tasteful direction. Well, I don't know if I explained it like that.
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. Promotional consideration provided by. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
The bottom line is, Ms. Garcia, it's his prerogative to do that. He's the owner of the business. Unless there's a law that says you can't wear these type uniforms in that particular type of business, then he's not bound to have you in a regular little skirt and apron and blouse. He made his choice, you made yours. You have to live with it. Judgment for the defendant.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
I'm sorry I lost you as a waitress, but you're the one who made the decision to quit, not me.
And I'm glad I made that choice. I may have lost my case, but at least I didn't lose my dignity.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.